The first deal that came right as the clock struck 12 on Monday wasn't a guy changing teams. It was the Colts playing beat the clock to get the deal done with Alec Pierce to keep him in Indianapolis on a 4-year, $116 million contract. And as it was first being introduced, and it's one of those subtle things where if you don't listen carefully, you're going to be misled. Because at first I'm thinking they're saying he's the highest paid receiver. He's not the. Wait a minute, I'm doing the math here. Are they? Is that 136 and not one? Like, is it 160? Like, wait a minute. 4 years, 116. Let me do the math here. That's 29 million. Highest paid's 40, and it's all in how you phrase it. But there was a way it was being delivered. It created the impression that this guy is breaking out as the highest paid receiver in the NFL. No. And it's this very highly specific, he's the highest paid free agent receiver. He's gotten the biggest pay for somebody who's ever made it to free agency because all the big money receivers have gotten their money from their teams. Like Justin Jefferson at 35, like Jamar Chase at 40. You didn't become a free agent to become the highest paid. But 29, hey, I mean, for a guy who's got 1,000-yard season, he led the league in yards per catch 2 straight years, which gets the whole explosive plays thing that Jesse Minter talked to us about in India a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But $29 million a year, when you consider his overall production, there is a projection here that this guy's ready to do it all and not just be 9 route, deep route, stretch the field, be the decoy, open up the offense guy, and he's going to be doing a lot more stuff in Indianapolis at $29 million a year.
Totally. That, and then the moving on from Michael Pittman Jr. and trading him to the Steelers, I think just opens up the offense for Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is phenomenal. And let's just say, context matters, all right? Let's put some context to those numbers that we just saw in that graphic. I mean, see, this is like we're such recency bias. People just go, well, it's only 1 year. Oh, this, that. And it's just like, well, wait, first off, everybody's made fun of the Colts quarterback situations the 3 years prior to that. So now we're going to hold Alec Pierce into, why didn't he get more balls and have better stats? And it's like, no, we've been talking about the Colts quarterback situation for 5 years. It's been an issue. He played with a quarterback at the start of his career who, if nobody was around, could only hit the target 50% of the time. So that's hard to put up big stats in that. And then it's hard for the offense to be opened up with a quarterback like that where they go, hey, we're going to run every play possible, when we go, wait, our quarterback can't hit some of the most basic throws in the sport. He had 1 year with Daniel Jones and the offense opening up 1,000 yards. So he is a really damn good player. And, you know, to your point, Mike, I'm glad you brought it up because too many people I hear saying that. I don't know if I'd pay that money to just a guy that runs a go route. First off, the explosive plays, like you talked about, are the number one thing determining games. Second is they had nobody on their football team that could run deep and scare anybody. So he was forced into that role. That was what he had to do. If you really break him down, you go, ooh, he can run routes pretty damn good. He's a good route runner. He's a complete receiver. He's a bigger guy than people realize. And that's where I think this year you see the production, the receptions all open up. Some of those plays you saw that go to Michael Pittman Jr. last year, the intermediate 10 to 12-yard routes that he's so good at, you're going to see all those go to Alec Pierce, and good for him. He's one of the best receivers in football, and it's good to see him get paid like that.
Well, and I wonder what else was out there.
Yeah, I know.
What did you think he was going to get? Did you think he was going to break 30?
I thought he might if he got
up against 30.
Yeah. I thought he might get there. And I thought maybe, but I think, again, like what you talk about a little too is people do still look at the production, what he's done, and the fan base is not going to always buy into that when they see numbers of that. Where I sit here, and again, I took a chance with this guy coming out, where I ranked him in front of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. And I sit here today and go, I'd still take him over Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave. I would. And we know that Garrett Wilson's making a little bit more money than he is, but he was a first-round pick, and he's damn good, don't get me wrong, but they wanted to make sure that worked with the New York Jets. But, yeah, I thought maybe if he got out there, Mike, and I think that's why it was done right at 12 o'clock, that price could have gone up a little bit more.
I think it ends up being for the Colts basically the deal they would have done if they tagged him and done a deal by July 15. When you think about it, because the tag was going to be 27.293, and I mean, maybe it's even a better deal for the Colts than it would have been if they tagged him, because you're going 27,293. You're doing a 20% increase over that, which gets it up into 32. You're getting over $60 million over the first 2 years. And I haven't seen the full breakdown yet for Pierce. But my point is this. They were able to hold their tag to keep Daniel Jones from becoming a free agent with the transition tag, because you can use one or the other. Can't use both. And they basically did a deal with Alec Pierce that's kind of in the range of what it would have been if they'd franchise tagged him and then done a long-term deal. And it might be a little bit better than that. And that's a good effort by the Colts and Chris Ballard to understand what else was out there. Because if somebody shows up and is going to pay him 34, it's going to be harder to pull that off.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of understand, because even though the transition tag was so much lower, or the franchise tag, was so much lower than the market, where Pierce fit into the grand scheme of things, I think the Colts understood it thoroughly, and they played it just the right way. They didn't use the tag on Pierce. They used it to keep Jones from potentially walking right out the door back to Minnesota, and they've got both of them now. And they speak in terms of, like, Pierce is talking like Jones is going to be there, and I would be surprised if Jones isn't there. Like the Vikings
and they're very good friends.
There's many other options a lot cheaper than trying to make an offer that the Colts won't match to a guy who's recovering from a torn Achilles.
Yeah. I feel like the Colts, they know what they want. That's a strong signal. Daniel Jones, I would think Daniel Jones certainly wants them. They believe in him. It's an offense that fits him. Shane Steichen has never wavered about his praise and what he thinks of Daniel Jones. I've been told that Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce are two peas in a pod. Best friends on the football team, so that makes sense as well. And we'll see where this goes now. But the Colts with Alec Pierce, I think, in a more prominent role. Josh Downs, being totally healthy. Ty Warren at tight end. Jonathan Taylor at running back, a pretty good O-line. Well, the Colts have got something working on the offensive side of the ball.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.